To the soil, ancient memories kept alive in these coils. Travel through dimensions, then we jump right out the portal. This flesh will expire, but the soul is immortal. Our story is forever, encoded through these DNA strands. So the ops made a plan to keep them severed, but we are the connectors, serving as a bridge to spark your power deep within and never settle for lesser. We don't fear no oppressor. On this road less traveled, we embodying the strength of a million ancestors. Let's go, standing 10 toes, equipped for any weather. Talking rain, sleet, or snowfall, drought, famine, or world war. We on a mission for enlightenment by any measure, for real. And I still got open wounds to heal, but I'm out in the field like a samurai, sharpen the blade, moving peace, but I'm licensed to kill, okay?
Purity and loyalty, I sing from the depths of my heart. Harmony inside of me, reflecting the light of my guide. It's what you are, a star, a star, a star. It's what you are, a star. And my orbit is full of love. It's what you are, a star, a star, a star. It's what you are, a star. And my orbit is full of love.
Eye to eye with some evil forces. The false gods they idolize, about to leave as corpses. See, the veil then got lifted on the ones that's wicked, but they can only stay in power long as we endorse it. When we attach to shit that's toxic, cause we think it's culture. Your president ain't solve a problem, why you keep on voting? The world at your fingertips, but you too busy scrolling. Do Instagram deserve to see all of your sacred moments? Cause you can follow trends for attention, but when you speaking truth, they gon' shadow ban your mentions. It's all fun and games when niggas is going viral, but don't let your thirst for fame slowly grow into a sickness. Cause it's survival of the fittest, and life can be your heaven on earth, or this shit can be your prison. Boss it up, don't be the victim. We chose to walk the righteous path, it's time to stand up on that business. Say
purity and loyalty, I sing from the depths of my heart. Harmony inside of me, reflecting the light of my guide. It's what you are, a star, a star, a star. It's what you are, a star. And my orbit is full of love. It's what you are, a star, a star, a star. It's what you are, a star. And my orbit is full of love.
Yeah, yo, my divinity is carved into eternity. My validity evolved into my currency. It's really in me, it ain't on me. I am woman, so I come with certain knowing. Cosmic star, I'm always flowing, attached to no identity. Their reality is poison, call me remedy. When I tuned into their noises, I was questioning my faith and my sanity, saying shit was never handed to me. Now speak abundance on my legacy. Free all my people through the galaxy. All is fair in love and war, so I'm pulling out my swords for the melanated starseeds and goddesses. A lotus at my feet and a Glock 9 tucked, cause I'm all about the balancing. Eternal entity, never worry about luck. What's for me is always guaranteed. I share
purity and loyalty.
I share.
I sing from the depths of my
complacency. Don't play with me. Chosen like Moses, I'll raise the sea. Just wait and see. Addiction and violence, ancestors had to wait on me. 120 pounds of flesh, but all this weight on me. Heavyweight champ, caterpillar to butterfly, I still sting like a bee. Land of milk and honey for the rest of my team. They was resting on me, now the rest history. Only right that I profit, I'm a walking prophecy. But I'm running this shit, runway was made for me. A flight of fashion week, fight or flight, angel wings. Bigger picture movie screens, I was the missing puzzle piece. Enemies puzzle how I pieced the shit together, I found my inner peace. My interior clean, came in chains and whips and they still want the same thing. I just wanted my freedom, I slayed every demon. R.I.P. put they name up on a T. Hibiscus tea, my cup runneth over, whole world clap for queen. I'm on an ultralight beam, I'm an ultralight being. As above so below, from the heavens and the skies to the roots of the trees. I'm screaming free the world until the whole world.
You're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond or shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are. You're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond or shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are. Don't let them define you, you're growing through dimensions, no losses, just lessons. And that's why your faith is strong. Every time you hit your low, it's always bounce back. Every time you lost your glow, got your shine back. Anytime you felt alone, God had your back. But I know that, and it shows that you're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond or shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are. You're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond, a shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are. I love you, reflection, we flexing on our haters. We wish them the best, but protecting our sacred love. No weapons formed against us to take us away from God. We praying, we praising, we grateful, we came from love. You're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond or shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are. You're worthy, you're priceless, a diamond, a shooting star. You're holy, you're righteous, you're perfect as who you are.
You are a bright light. Your essence, it brings life. Encoded in your DNA is eternal life. A walking constellation on this earth, radiating beyond our three-dimensional sight. Your level of productivity does not define your worth. Your worthiness is inherent to your being. Your existence is a gift from the heavens through all of eternity. Speak highly of what you seek. Your words are medicine. Your breath is a holy sacrament. Baptize yourself in these affirmations. A living wish come true. We are honored to exist alongside you.
this earth while never leaving earth. 10 toes firmly planted in the dirt for what it's worth. See my life flash before my eyes a couple times, so I'd be lying if I said I don't believe in the divine. For reasons we can't find, the truth will probably blow our minds. This energy in the universe send chills down your spine. Had a talk with a goddess about human design. Pull my coat to how I need to get my chakras aligned. Gotta break some bad habits, it's addition by subtraction. Move away from bad actors, trying to leech off your action. It's the laws of attraction, gotta see it before it happens. Gotta believe it with a passion, then receive this beautiful madness. Find a pattern in the chaos, their assessment was way off. You build it from the ground up, you own it, so ain't no layoffs. Your energy is equity, cashing on your day off. Hope to reach a couple souls, it's all a part of the payoff.
Hey, peace and blessings, Starseeds. Peace and blessings. Whoa, back it up. Peace and blessings. This is the goddess Rael. Thank you for being in the building tonight. It may be a little echo, only for a temporary amount of time. Hey, peace, cousin. Hey, Jackie. Hi, Diana. Yes, thank you, Starseeds, for tapping in. It's a very special show tonight. So let me put this somewhere. Okay, hold on. The echo is kicking my butt. Okay. Anyway, tonight, the sun chaser himself is back. That's right. It's been a while since we talked to Perry, and he is in the building tonight. So make sure you stay tapped in. Hey, Diana. Hey, girl. Hey. So before he comes on, I played a short piece from a lecture from Dr. Gilbert Blair last week on the show. If you didn't tap in, I'm going to play that right before I bring the sun chaser himself on. I missed him, so I'm excited to have him back on stage with me tonight. And this is Temple Talks. So he's going to be breaking some things down for us, and we're just going to be having discussions. And if you have questions, make sure you put them in the comments. Okay, I'm echoing, so let's get to the video. To the song, Lord. To the lecture by Dr. Gilbert Blair. And the next time you see me, I'll be back with the sun chaser. All right?
For close to 5 million years, the sons of God have degenerated on this planet. Their souls have come and gone in bodies never opening up to what and who they really were, only from time to time getting a little light into what they potentially were supposed to be. Once they were not able to call on directly the universal cosmic creator, they had to then accept false gods and false teachings by mankind, who was put upon the earth later on by others to keep this Son of God in control. From greatness and grandeur, having the bloodline of the angels, they also had the higher frequency body potential of the angels. But now it was locked in an animal body and could only escape between the hours of 11 and 2 in the morning, when the pineal gland could kick in and they could come out of these false bodies and become what they really were. That's why people who dream in black and white are on the verge of ascending. People who dream in color and remember the dreams and have dreams that come in threes are prophets. And as it moves up again, they can begin to awaken and come outside of your body, look down upon your body, and see that you are more than the body, because you never were human. You were simply encased in human and locked in by the frequency barrier, and you didn't know who you were. Trapped on a planet who you didn't even come from, or only here for a lesson, the lesson has got to go on and on and on infinitum. Well, even the planet is getting tired of that now and is changing the frequency. What we are about the business now is awakening. As you watch the stars, you will see, and if some of you are very much into celestial mechanics, into astrology or astronomy, you will find that the constellations are not in the proximity that they were even back in 1975. They have been displaced. You will find that due to what is called the progression of the equinoxes, Even the signs by which you think you were born under no longer are the signs that rule you. They are not your natal ruling signs because they have now changed 30 degrees. Time and frequencies are speeding up. Some of you should have noticed that the days are flying by. The time seems to just slip by. That's for you who are matching vibrations. You become quickened, sometimes agitated, sometimes searching for what you don't even know you're searching for, but you know something is changing, while other soulless creatures say time is still the same. It is not the same. Time is frequencying upward. It's speeding up. You must also speed up, and to do so, you must awaken those glands that can cause your body to keep up with your soul. And it means you will be mutating. Don't become frightened of mutation. Sometimes if everybody mutates, nobody notices. The first mutation will be of the soul progression, and your neuron centers will begin to clean up their act. That's why head colds will be the rule. That's why asthma will be the rule. Asthmatic conditions will be the rule as you try to clean off the mucus and burn it up. The more you use your brain, the faster it will be burned up, and the more you get the headaches, and the headaches will go away because you'll finally begin the frequency like you're supposed to. For those who can't, they will get sick of head diseases and die. For those who can't and are in the body, they'll get attacked by body diseases and die. Dis-ease only means one thing: imbalance, out of order. To hold a charge and not be able to use that charge will cause that charge to burn up the wires, to burn up the connections. This is why you're moved now to do things probably you hadn't wanted to do before. Certain health foods, certain health drinks, herbals. You all wanted to go into the marijuana and stuff before because you know there was something that you could activate. And so rather than do it the hard way, you say, I'm going to just trip out real quick. Not understanding that in a lowered frequency, when you do that, you run into lower vibrations, which also are called to a planet with that, and into all kind of trouble, losing your mortal souls. We've all talked about that, but we didn't understand what we were saying. But to a clear head, who through the use of consciousness-raising drugs, now I'm not talking about now the street drugs, I'm not talking about barbiturates and influence and all this kind of thing. I'm talking about the wushis and the fotis and the ginsengs and the things that can tremendously raise your vibrational rate. The pineal gland then begins to activate and not die up and dry up. It activates.
That was Dr. Gilbert Blair. So thank y'all for sitting around and tapping in. I hope you enjoyed that short piece of lecture. It's one of my favorite clips. He has plenty. If you've never heard of him, he has them on YouTube, so you can look him up on YouTube. He is one of the first master teachers I've ever experienced, and he has opened up my third eye a lot. So I would recommend, if you want to hear more, tap into him. As I promised, let me remove this little banner. I'm doing a lot tonight. As I promised, after the break, you will be joined by the Sun Chaser. So without further ado, let me bring to the stage the Sun Chaser.
What's up?
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to be back.
I'm glad to have you back. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Because we had some issues.
Yeah, we should be good now.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
so how you doing?
I'm doing well. Been staying busy, which is different from my norm. So it's been good. Been working through some things, working on myself, getting myself together to be back. And, we all go through our things in life, and sometimes, we go into a place of solitude that, sometimes feels like isolation. But, in that solitude and isolation, it seems, pretty dark. But when you come out on the other side, and you do the work, it's all good. It's all worth the effort and the pain and the hurt and all the good stuff that turns into something, like a rebirth. So it's cool to be back.
I feel you.
Yeah. I know you do. For sure. Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. The things have been going well, really well. So I'm happy. Yep. So I guess
I see you making food and stuff again. I've seen you cooking, and we're not cooking raw. You back to the raw.
Yeah. I've been back in the raw. I've been doing these pizzas. I'm at my one of my good brother, homie Nuru. He has a juice bar, juice smoothies, acai bowls, wellness shots. You know, he does the herbs and all that good stuff. So we connected in divine flow and alignment, which has been incredibly aligned. Some of the stuff that's been happening is like, whoa. But yeah, he owns a juice bar called Add-On Smoothies. So we're working together and, you know, doing some pretty powerful stuff, some important stuff, you know, like bringing the collective together, bringing people together who are in resonance, and people that aren't, you know what I mean, that are just wanting to be healthy, or, you know, wanting good food, good healthy food and stuff like that. So yeah, it's exciting. Definitely back in my mode. So
Yes, that's good.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. Because, you know, you heard the lecture that I played, that clip from Dr. Delbert Blair, and he was talking about this. I feel like these are the times he's truly was talking about. Like, we are in those times where people are needing to go back to, again, like fixing the body because of so much. It's going to be so much change going on, and the body has to hold a certain type of charge, a certain type of energy. And in order to hold that type of energy, we have to look at what we're eating. And so it's so crazy that right now, all the stuff that's going on with the food and the, you know, the benefits and all of that, I feel like it's kind of like making us, again, reevaluate what are we putting in our bodies? You know what I'm saying? Do we need as much as we've been eating? What is it that we need to be eating? You know, stuff like that. Like,
yeah. It's definitely the whole picture of the food. You know, the reason I call this temple talks is because, you know, the temple is the body and our soul resides in the body. So we're going to talk about how a lot of the sacred texts, Bible, Nag Hammadi, all these different texts are pointing us back inward. You know, a lot of the things we take as surface value in the way we were taught maybe in religions and things like that, which I'm not going to down religion because it's helped me to lay a foundation, even though it's like more surface level. My experience with Christianity and being in a family that's predominantly ministers, pastors, bishops, and all these different things. Even as a child, an intuitive child, you know, I always knew there was more, but the surface level also has things that are beneficial, but it's really the lowest level of understanding of what these texts are, because it's riddled with allegory and different, you know, signs, symbols, numbers, and all these things that were left for us to decode once we get to a place mentally to be able to see what, but beyond the surface of what's being said. So that's what really is exciting for me, because, you know, stepping into true priesthood, you know, I never really considered myself like a priest, you know, coming from a background of like family being ministry. You know, I don't take it lightly, you know, because, you know, people are hearing me and listening to me, and I'm not saying I have all the answers. And I also encourage people to, you know, just don't take what I say for face value. Please go check what I say. Go look, go dig, go see what I'm saying, because that's exactly what I did when I was coming into a higher consciousness. Was, you know, I had to break that mold of the type of mindset that I had coming out of Christianity, to be able to break that cognitive dissonance, because it's powerful, you know, to accept new information and be receptive to things, and admit that I might not know everything that, or been told everything that might be fully correct or true. So
no, that's true. It's hard for a lot of people to accept that, because it's been so ingrained in us, right? Like, I grew up as a Christian. I really enjoyed, you know, the part I loved the most was the brotherhood and the sisterhood and the Congress, you know, being together and being on one accord, and like that feeling. But there was like gaps, and there was things that I felt like were missing, and there was questions I couldn't ask because he was asking questions against God, and it was like, no, I'm not about to be doing that. I'm about to figure some shit out. Like, that's how my spirit has always been. Like, we're not about to fight through that. And because I really wasn't in a structured, you know, like a Christian structured home, like everybody was doing their own thing. So sometimes I went to church on a regular basis because there was this natural spiritual pulling on me, but I didn't know, we didn't have spirituality rampant everywhere. We did have churches on every corner, just like the liquor stores. So it was like churches where we went. And so I definitely say that like religion definitely opened my eyes to spirituality. So I could never be like, but I understand that, saying religion is also being used as one of the things that also keeps us enslaved. It's like the good and the bad. We gotta see through the veil of what is really being presented to us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I believe that this is going to be a great, episode, like couple of episodes. We're going to go on a journey with the Sun Chaser. He's going to teach us some things. He's going to open our brains. I believe that, like, it's really hard, like you said, to digest certain information after a certain amount of time of being fed certain types of, other information. But if we just listen, I'm not saying that you always have to agree. Like you said, check, do the research. Because sometimes people get one book and think they know everything. And they're scientists, they got millions of books and they still keep exploring, right? We should never believe that we know everything. And I don't, the beauty of learning is always being open, right? So I know the Starseeds come here open with an open mind and an open heart to receive. And again, like what resonates with you. That's always a good thing to check in with, because your inner God will tell you what works for you and what doesn't,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We all have that little voice inside of us, as Bob Marley was saying, and it tells us
exactly.
We all have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's path looks different. We're all getting to the same point, but each person, like, they all paths lead to the same point. So, I'm just here to help facilitate and assist that, but also just to make people think outside the box. I feel like that's what my calling is just to get people to break that mold and get out of the box and just start being critical thinkers and not just feed into everything that the outside world tells us, and to listen to our gut, listen to our inner world, which is why it's important that we take care of our temple, because that's our main source of discernment and our main source of filling things out to, if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. So it's important that we have that gut, which is considered the solar plexus, the place of the sun. So that's the first brain, and that's where a lot of our instincts, our intuition, and that gut feeling comes from. So it's important that we take care of that, because that's our navigation system. So.
Absolutely. I believe that, because my intuition comes through my body before it even comes to my mind. Like, I feel a certain way first. It's that it's in here. Sometimes I get sick and I'll be like, well, I feel like that. And then later it's the worry. Later it's all the other stuff. But first it's the feeling in my gut. So that's so true. That's our first brain.
Yep, definitely.
Yep, it hit us here first, hit you in the gut, right? When somebody do something, it's like, damn, it's a gut shot first. Yep. Before you can even process it, it hits you right there in the stomach. So you're right. That solar plexus. Wow.
Yep. So we gotta keep that sun, that solar fire going, because that's where the digestion takes place, and that's what's called the digestive fire. It's the hot place, the place where our fire is, like our furnace. So. I feel like most things start there, just like we were born in the womb. Life starts in the solar plexus. So
yes,
indeed,
absolutely. Now you're talking temple. You talking two ways now. So you're talking about the body as a temple, and then the temple of God, like where God resides. I know a lot of people believe, God resides in a certain space, but you got to go to church. You got to go to a certain space to get to God. But talk to us about this temple that you keep speaking of.
So the temple is the body that woman constructs inside of her womb. She is the temple maker. If you go, I'll probably reference the Bible. So going forward, I would encourage people to either have their Bible with them or their laptop or something to their side so we can look things up, because I'll be going to there so we can have, I just don't want to say things. I want to be able to show people where they can go to find the answers and how to find the answers and things like that. So, the temple is that are the body that we live in. Also, metaphysically, it can be called a house. It can be called a tent. All these different things are have metaphysical meanings. And as a people, the ancients, they taught these in stories. Is why the Bible's called the greatest story ever told, because it's a story that explains truths, but the truths are hidden within the allegories and the symbolisms of what's being said, because this stuff was taught to children, and children learn best as with stories. And sometimes even as adults, we have like childlike minds, very we can be influenced by different things, and programs that were programmed into us that we didn't ask for. And so the taking care of the body is part of coming into a full awareness of what's being said. It's a gut feeling. It's something that makes sense. And even as a child, I was very intuitive. I was an investigator. I found out Santa was fake on my own. So I always questioned everything. I would go investigate. With the Santa thing, I'd stay up all night and I'd listen for the reindeer on the roof. And I was like, I'm not seeing no reindeer. And I'm looking out the window. It's like 3:00 in the morning. Parents think I'm asleep. And I'm like, I'm not seeing no Santa, And then our chimney caught on fire one winter. And I was like, all right, well, so where's Santa coming in at? The door ain't opening. I didn't hear the doorbell. So, but yeah, I figured that out real quick. And then after that, I was just like, okay, so we got a lot to unpack, and there's things being thrown at us, and people do it. I get it, because people have good intentions when they're doing it. Parents have good intentions. It's fun. It's exciting to see the children open the presents and everything, but we've been kind of conditioned to not see the knowledge behind it, where it's like the truth and the lie. And it starts deep as a child with the indoctrination and everything, because even the story of Santa is an allegorical story, just like we see in the scriptures, where there's different anatomical things that are going on in the story that reside within our biology and the way our brain works, the way our body works, and it's just told in a story, because stories are captivating and they're easy to remember. So, they were great storytellers. Our ancestors were great storytellers. As you know, so we speak in metaphors a whole lot, even as we converse in everyday talk, so,
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm in total agreement. I believe that it was all about personification of certain types of, ideas into people, so that we could better understand them outside of ourselves, but these actually reside within us, right? Even like the story of Aset and Asar, when she consulted with her sister, or with Thoth. This is her thoughts. She was consulting with her thoughts, and her, like it wasn't an actual, but these entities were better to be described as something outside of herself, consulting with something, a god, but it was within her, right? And so it was like, but if you don't think of it like that, and you put it outside of yourself, and you keep everything outside of yourself, then the power also lies outside of you, right? Like, so you are giving your power away essentially to something outside of yourself that you've created by pushing your power externally.
Exactly. And I mean, even in the scriptures, it says that. I mean, in the Gospels, the four Gospels, it talks about the kingdom of God being within, and people will be looking for something to come, but it won't come, because everything that is being talked about is something that's within. And it actually even says that if people say, look there, or go here, here comes the Christ, it says don't follow those people, because what's actually happening is something that's inward. It can't be seen. The spirit of a matter is something that is invisible to the naked eye, but understood inwardly, because you're getting that information from within. And I'm kind of going to try to get into that even within the book of Genesis today, just because it's something that I actually questioned as a child when I heard this story, and I just couldn't grasp what it was saying, because it just didn't make sense on the surface level, and I always just was just like, why? Just always asking why, which is like becoming a child again, because children ask a whole lot of questions. You're like, okay, you say something, you're like, why? And you tell them why, and then they'll even keep saying why, because they want to dig deeper and deeper to make sure they're getting what's, true. And as they're developing, they're curious and they want to know. And we're at the mercy of our, guardians or parents to hopefully tell us truth, but we're not always told the truth because of the indoctrination and the programs that were put in place to keep us enslaved in our minds. So yeah. So the temple talks, even the Bible, like the Bible, it's the body. It has a spine. It's got two sides. It's like your brain. It's got the Old Testament and New Testament. Testament meaning testy, and mint meaning that everything starts from the root chakra all the way to your mint. So testy comes from the word like testicle, right? It's the word, or for women's parts too, because women anatomically we're all female starting out as embryos, right? So a male is a byproduct of the female. So whatever we talked about gender and things like that, we have to understand that we embody both of those things, but also studying the woman's body is the gateway of learning what the universe is, because she is the universe. And so when I started to study my body, obviously I studied the woman's body, and it's funny because a lot of times, we're not told to know thyself in the sense of learning how our body works. What's the functions, what each organ does, and what's its responsibility, and how it works as a whole. And it's so important when we're coming to knowledge, because those same answers that we get when we know ourselves through our body are also the same things that we can correlate and correspond with how things work on the outer world. And so everything is always going from our root to our mind. It's always an upward flow, and then it goes back and forth. And if any of those channels or any of those things are obstructed, then it obstructs that energy from being able to flow freely. Mm-hmm. And that's where they try to keep us at. It's locked in our left side of the brain, which is often considered the masculine side, to keep us away from, the righteous side, which is the right side of our brain.
The righteous side.
Yeah, the righteous side. So it's a balance. It's basically our struggle within ourselves to find balance between the masculine and feminine. And as you can see, when those are out of sync, that also translates into our outer world. And we can see nowadays where there's a real disconnect between men and women in the relationship that they have, and both are responsible for whatever they bring to the table and the things that need to be balanced or whatever needs to be fixed. But there has to be conversations and transparency on taking responsibility and accountability for our actions and the way we treat each other and we treat ourselves. Because ultimately how we treat ourselves is also how the outside world is going to in turn treat us, or how we're going to experience our life or our existence. So it's really interesting stuff, And even with they always say, two or three witnesses. Whenever you're reading any type of text, especially the Bible, there's always at least two or three witnesses, meaning that there's always going to be something that reinforces a truth. So if there's one truth, there should be something that reinforces that same truth within the same text or chapter that gives even more light to the original truth that's being told. So it's almost like a reference, or something to be like, oh, okay, well, it's in here 3 times. So if I see it 3 times, then this has to be there's something to this, right? And I'll give example of that when I read this, because we'll start in Genesis. And just like I said about Testament and the Bible being basically a book, not only is it a book of astrology and cosmology, and they call it what do they call it? Astro something. Sometimes I draw blanks, but astrotheology. The Holy Bible actually means Helios Biblios, which is the book of the sun, which is why we call Christ the Son of God. It's not just the S-O-N, it's actually the S-U-N of God, as he always refers to himself as the light of the world, the giver of life or creation, which is also how we get, the story of Adam and Eve. And yeah, we'll dig into some of
The
that
morning
stuff.
star
Yeah, the morning star, which is also
the
Venus,
sun.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so starting in Genesis, obviously, not obviously, but to me, obviously. So Genesis actually means genes of Isis. It has to do with the generative properties of the female to be able to produce and reproduce, right? And so the story of Adam and Eve is basically a nuclear fission, which is the splitting of an atom. It's an allegory of, you know, Eve wasn't literally taken from Adam. It's just a picture of Adam representing one thing and Eve representing another, which Adam is representative of the soil, the ruddy soil, the red soil, and also it means an atom. An atom, whenever there's something that's created, we talk about the splitting of an atom because that's what generative things do. They split off to create and multiply, which also is in the scripture. So, being that it's genes of Isis, and even in the Masonic order, people say, like obviously there's Masons out there that are not doing the things right. They're kind of in the context of things of trying to dupe people. But in the Masonic order, this is still just information that came from ancient Kemet. These are things that are to be understood as building blocks of our temple. And sometimes those temples were constructed outwardly because they were representations of how our body was worked inwardly. And they were also technologies which harvested energy, from from our surroundings, because everything is energy, everything is electrical, and everything when it comes to God is that we refer to God as El or Elohim, which is actually plural, which means gods. But El being the light or photon is that spark that we have that gives us life, right? It's the same thing as what spirituality is, which is our breath. The word spirit in an etymology or etymological sense means the study of the breath and to practice the breath. Because aside from anything else, that's the vital component that keeps us alive, and it's an animating property that's electrical that keeps us, um, you know, um, functioning correctly, because everything is like on an electrical circuit. Like I said, everything runs up and up and down in the body, and it's circulatory, in our body. So yeah, this stuff that's exciting to me. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is. I'm sitting here absorbing this. I mean, a
this,
lot of it. Again, we've had some talks, and I'm totally in agreement. I also know that like the Old Testament had a lot to do with the woman, right? Like it was a lot to do with, again, you said that there's a left and the right side, and then there's like, and we don't really talk a lot about the destructions of the temples in the Old Testament and what was really going on in the Nobody ever really talks about the Old Testament
no,
at
yeah,
all.
it's like done and it's over with. We don't have to worry about it. We're just over here in the New Testament, which is very destructive because you can't have one without the other. You know
Right.
what I mean? And even Christ said he came not to destroy or abolish the law, but to uphold it. Even when it comes to the law, it's a spiritual law. It's not just physical laws that are for face value. Like even the things about the Levitical laws about even food. There's a book called the Epistles of Barnabas, because there's been books taken out. There's all these different texts that have been hidden from us, and there's a book called the Apostle. I just said it. The Epistles of Barnabas, that actually explains the spirit of what it meant to not eat swine and to not eat certain things, because these animals actually represented characteristics of our mind. These things have characteristics in which because our mind can be very animalistic. And so the cow was considered clean because it was a ruminant animal, and it would chew the cud, which means that it would eat something and then digest it, spit it back up, swallow it, digest it, spit it back up until it was easily digestible. And the same thing happens when we receive information. Sometimes when we receive information, it's like, I got to chew on that for a second, because we have to mull over it. You know what I mean? It's no different. And so that's the analogy there with how animals are sometimes synonymous with the way that we work. You know what I mean? It's just an example of how things work. So it can be simplified for people who aren't privy to this type of information, can't understand it. Like the same reason why Jesus talked in parables and different stories, because he said that these people do not yet understand. So I have to talk to them in parables because they don't know the spiritual matters of these things yet. You know, so even he says it in the scriptures. So yeah, and then the swine. I'll explain the swine too. The swine being an unclean animal. You know, it's usually wallowing in its own stuff. You know, it'll eat just about anything. You know, but as a mental archetype, it's explained that a swine only remembers his master when it wants something, and once it's fed, it forgets who his master is. Right? It's ungrateful. It's slothful. You know, not to attack the pig, but we're just talking about the characteristics of the pig. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's also a surface level understanding that has truth too, because we're starting to see that, you know, like for people that do eat flesh, that pork is not good. You know, especially the domesticated the pigs that we have now, because those are genetically modified. They're not actually the domesticated. So, you know, a real pig would be a boar. You know, it has hair. It's not pink colored. You know, out in the wild you won't see a pink colored pig. You know, that's something that was genetically modified, like a lot of our foods and things are to this day. But I don't want to get off on that tangent. But I guess I'm just going to dig into Genesis. As a child, I would always hear this story, and I would never understand it. But it was a story of Jacob when he got his name changed to Israel, which he's basically the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. I don't know if people have their Bibles or not, or a computer, but I will read some of that and try to, you know, bring some understanding, because this is what actually helped me break out of my mental box of being like, oh, okay, like there's more to this, right? So I'll go ahead and read that, but I'm reading from Genesis 32, 22. Obviously, there's a whole chapter there. I don't want to go through the whole chapter, so I choose this because it kind of gives us the meat of what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna get my Bible while you're doing that.
All right, that sounds good.
I'm listening.
All right, and it says, starting at 22, and he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 woman servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford of Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over what he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou doest ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. So,
first of all, that is crazy that you would pick that to start off with, because I was just reading about when Jacob wrestled with the angel, and he wanted to be blessed, and he got his name changed to Israel, which it means he who wrestles with God, or he who, okay.
Well, Jacob is called the supplanter. Right, he's the supplanter. Is the story of Jacob and Esau, where he was the one to be blessed, right? But Esau, they were twins, so and Esau comes out first, but he grabs Esau's leg to pull him back so he could be the firstborn, because the blessing was to come to him. Right? So this is just another picture of that in a different way of telling that story. And
Now,
so,
can you tell me what scripture again you were reading from?
Genesis 32, 22.
32:22. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put my little bookmark in here.
Yeah, it's a good one. This is one of my favorite ones. As a child, I often would question, because what Jacob was wrestling was what we call an angel, and an angel just isn't, you know, a thing that's flying around with wings on. We're talking about light when we talk about things. In the beginning, there was darkness, and then there was light. Everything has to do with a lot of time with light or photon, because light is how we experience this world. Light is frequency. It's how we see. Light is in just about everything. Even when we're born in the woman's womb, there's a spark and a light that comes on, even in the darkness of the womb. And so what the picture of is Jacob is wrestling with himself, because an angel is what's considered an angle of light, because we're dealing with anagrams and things like that. So there'll be words that can actually be, the word can be switched around into something else. And it's a way that they would code certain things, because it's an initiation. Like to go through the initiation is to really know thyself and go through, vigorous work within oneself to be able to come to the awareness of what's being said under the surface level, where the gold and where the treasure really is. But this is a perfect picture of enlightenment. Like what I'm doing now, when I'm talking to somebody and laying out a truth, they're going to wrestle with that truth because it's conflicting with their intellectual mind, where it's like, okay, well, something doesn't seem rationally right here because I was told this on the surface level, and now you're telling me something completely different. And even as that light is trying to come through, there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some resistance to whatever's trying to come in. And that's why in the scriptures it says that he had his basically his family with him, but he was sent off to be alone. And like I was talking about earlier, when we're trying to come to awareness for ourselves, we sometimes have to be alone. We have to be in solitude, because we can't have distractions. We can't have things going on around us, because we have to go within. We have to really focus within ourselves. And not only that, we have to deal with our emotions. We have to deal with those programs. We have to deal with those feelings. And we all come in with different types of trauma, you know what I mean? Whether it be from our parents, whether it be from the world. And it's not to put blame on them. It's just that what we've been born into. Mm-hmm. And it's our responsibility to get with ourselves and confront those things. And a lot of the world runs from that because it's scary, because it's not easy coming to yourself and admitting things and being transparent with yourself, harsh truths, like for me, there's certain things that I would do. I would take things personal sometimes when people say things, or I would think very lowly of myself. And these are all things that actually are programmed within us, maybe through experiences as children. But a lot of times we're taught to distract ourselves from these things, because it is like going into a darkness. It is like going into a void, especially if we had like traumatic relationships or traumatic childhoods and things like that. These things are like monsters to us. They're like demons to us, and we don't want to face those demons. And so we distract ourselves with a lot of this outside stuff, which actually keeps us in bondage and keeps us in slavery. So we have to go through that darkness, which is the initiation. Sometimes called the dark night of the soul, the void. But the void is not an evil place. It's a place of reflection. It's a place of transmutation. It's like the cocoon, and even in my story and your story, and probably people out there listening to us now can relate to that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people run from themselves. They run from that work, and running from that work ultimately just sabotage yourself not to become a higher version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So, okay, digging into it a little bit more, you notice it talks about the sun in the nighttime quite a bit, because when he goes to go be alone, it was night. It says, he went, so went the present, so went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And then he rose up that night and took his tube. So all this stuff that's happening before he meets this angel of light, or his inner self that's trying to basically awaken him or get him to remember who he actually is happening at nighttime, because nighttime is perceived as being when things are hidden. Things aren't seen, things aren't exposed by the light, right? And we often battle a lot of times when we're trying to go to sleep. Our mind is running. It's got things going on, and we just try our best to try to get sleep sometimes, but our mind just keeps going. So it's kind of that same idea. And so during this time of remembering or enlightenment, there's a dark period. And as that dark period came and he left his family to go be on his own, he then he's left alone and then wrestles with this man until the breaking of day. So we're speaking of, he's wrestling with himself until the light turns on, right? And when that light turns on, and that angel, it says he struck Jacob in the hip, right? The sino of the hip, which is also called the epiphysis, which we'll get to here in a little bit. And like I explained before, there's always going to be 2 to 3 witnesses are called precepts, that back up each claim, right? Or each truth, right? And so as he's wrestling with this angel, as a child, I would be like, I never want to meet an angel. Like, who the heck wants to fight an angel?
Right.
And better yet, have my hip knocked out of place by this angel. It's like, yeah, I'll pass on that, right? So as a child, I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense, right? He gets blessed by getting hit in the hip and limping around. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't sound fun at all. Which is not fun when you're going through a transmutation or a transition. It's like a death. It hurts. It's not comfortable. And it can feel like a death at times. And some people, like even myself, I've had times where I was trying to figure out how to take myself out. It was so painful. The pain was so painful. I was so hurt with abandonment, self-confident issues, feeling some type of way, that it can bring you down to a point where it's like, I don't want to be here anymore. That's how dark it can get sometimes in these spots. So it's not, to be taken lightly at all. But, he touched him on the hollow of his thigh and knocked it out of joint. And so he wrestled with his angel and asked him, to bless me, that I'm not going to let you go, because he had a hold of the angel until you bless me. And then that's when he got the name change. He said, your name will no longer be Jacob, which is the supplanter, which is also a picture of the Kundalini, the so-called serpent that lays coiled in your sacrum, which is where your root chakra is. It's the energy that's wanting to be released to go up the spine, which is basically, the spine has 33 vertebrae, which is important in numerology, because Christ started his ministry at 33. And Christ is a substance, which is like your cerebral spinal fluid, which is the anointing oil that rises up your spine and comes up to your brain and anoints the pine. And that's why in church, when you come up to the altar, they anoint your head with oil. It's all ritual. That anointing oil or that olive oil is representation of something inward. It's not outward. And so when he got that name change, it's like going from the flesh to the spirit, because flesh and spirit are always at enmity with each other. They can't cohabitate with each other within the same place. You can't straddle the fence. It's either one or the other. And so in this allegorical story, what's happening is Jacob is having an epiphany. It's that aha moment, that part of him that wakes up, that's to himself, to his true self, not who his family thinks he is, not who his friends perceive him to be, not any of those things, but who he is authentically, and what he's starting to remember in his world, in his universe, which translates into the outer universe as us as a collective. We all have that work to do. And so he gets his name changed to Israel, which means, Israel means Isis, Ra, and El. which means
Rael.
yeah, exactly. And so Isis obviously is the feminine aspect of our
Divine
being, the
feminine,
mind, and
absolutely.
yep, and Ra being the sun because the sun rose
Masculine God, and then El.
is the masculine. Yep, and El is God, which when you bring those into balance, you become as God. And
Yes.
it says that in the Bible plenty of times too. But like I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail. I'm just trying to keep it kind of light but deep at the same. It's kind of light and deep at the same
It
time.
is deep for me tonight, okay?
Yeah,
Because again,
yeah.
I was studying that because of the fact that, again, my name was changed by God. God gave me this name. And I wrestle with God. You know what I've been through. I had to
Yeah,
wrestle
absolutely.
with my higher self to get this. And it was like, I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me. You know what
Yeah,
I
I'm not letting.
mean?
Yeah,
I'm
not
gonna hold
giving
on
up.
to you till you bless me. You know what?
Yeah.
Rael.
Yep.
You know, the cuh got removed. Again, I tell people that was the shit I had to go through, the cuh, you know, in my
Absolutely.
name. But
And
my
we
name
feel
is Raquel.
Raquel. Yep. And we all get that name change. Like whenever I was going through my transformation, I did a lot of fasting. I'm an avid faster, and so I went to Sedona and did some fasting, and I got the name Ptah, which is what I used to call myself a lot. I still embody that archetype and that energy, but Ptah was the creator god. It's the creator god that created all gods, basically. And so that's what name I was given. And it's not on no ego or like I don't think I'm the god of everything or whatever, but I'm the god of myself. I'm the god of my kingdom and the energies and the and spirit that is within me. And I'm the archetype of my own life that creates my reality and can pretty much be magnetic, attractive, and we all can do certain things to enhance and have power within this realm, especially if we work together. But even as an individual, we all have our gifts, talents, and things. And as we get into those gifts and talents, and not only get into our gifts and talents, but also raise that energy within us, it kind of evolves and elevates to a place of power, and not power over anything, but using that power as a conduit to be able to help not only yourself but humanity, because we're all in it, but we're also responsible for our part for ourselves to then outwardly share that with others, like we're doing now. And
Yes.
so my battery's running down pretty quick. We're gonna try to work through it, but I'm gonna try to get through some of the rest of this.
Okay, go ahead.
So we can. And so after Jacob got the name change, you notice that the place where he got the name change was called a place called Peniel. Again, we're dealing with like anagrams, and if we look at the word Peniel, it looks and sounds a lot like the word pineal. If you rearrange those things, and the pineal gland is actually a light receptor. That's what triggers our melatonin when the sun comes up and the sun comes down to wake us up with our cortisol, to wake us up slowly, gently, and then as the sun goes down, it creates melatonin, which actually makes us tired and ready to go to sleep. And in that same substance, melatonin is also where you get the name melanin, which melanin is what we call, like, we look at it as a color because it's reflective of how much melanin we have in our body and in our brain. It's a chemical, is representation of our skin color. But melanin is more than a skin color. It harnesses the light. Our body works with the light, and if you know scientifically that melanin it protects us against UV light, but it also acts like a solar panel. It pulls in that light, and we harness that energy to be able to create, to be able to step into our power, and because it's a conductive thing. Like microchips are made out of melanin. Melatonin that people take to go to sleep is basically melanin, and so not to get into it too much, but that's why a lot of times melanin is attacked. You know what I mean, and looked at bad, because it's a very powerful thing, and it's not on no like race thing or anything like that. It's just scientific. Everybody has a certain amount of melanin, and it's just expressed through the skin color of the concentricity of the melanin within the body and how much the pineal gland secretes that melanin or that neuromelanin that resides within the body. It's an electrical property. So that we look at that place Peniel, and it says it twice, I think. It says, and Jacob called the name Peniel, which actually means to see God to face to face. So when we have that epiphany, when we have that moment that we come to awareness and enlightenment, there's healing in it, because the melatonin is also a healing substance, right? And all these things are connected to the brain. There's like Amon's horn. These are all scientific names. That's what the ram's horns. It looks like a ram inside the brain. So that's why they use animals, because if you understand things outwardly, you understand them inwardly. So it's like the as without, so within. And within that Amon's horn is what's called the hippocampus, which is called the white horse or the white seahorse, because it's white and it's shaped like a seahorse. It's also called the sea monster. And that's the place where memory takes place. It's where how we remember. So again, we're talking about remembering who we are, remembering what's been laying dormant within us that's now being awakened. And if you notice, even in Christianity, whenever they take their communion, the so-called blood and flesh of Christ, we're talking about the spirit and flesh aspect of ourselves that we're remembering, because even on most of the tables it says, "Do this in remembrance of me," right? On the usually there's a table that communion served on in most churches. I know some things might have changed, but as a child I remember that. But it says his life was preserved, and that preservation is the healing that takes place when this alchemical thing happens within us. It's turning lead into gold. It's a chemical process inside of us, and very beautiful thing. And then it goes on to say that, and after it says his life was preserved, he says, and as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Right, so we got Penuel, it's spelled different, right? But it's still, in pronunciation, the same thing. The brain still hears the same thing. You know, if I say Penuel or Penuel, it's very similar, right? So Penuel actually means to see God face to face, and Peniel also means face of God. So we're talking about the same thing, right?
Right.
So what happens is he's had this epiphany, and now he has met God on the throne, where the pineal gland is called the throne seat of God, right? It's when we come into awareness. And then when it comes to the thigh, out of Christianity, I studied the Torah for a few years, and I got a deeper understanding of a lot of this stuff, even in it. So I'm very grateful to have the journey that I've been on, because it's very ordered, you know, when I look back on it, and the way that I was able to understand things, because I was able to obtain a lot of inward knowledge, not all knowledge, but what I know thus far in just 5 years. And that's how quick this process can happen if you're receptive and if you're wanting to study to show yourself approved. You know, we hear that in church all the time. Kings and empresses show themselves to be wise because they look into the matter of things. They look deeply into the matter of things, not just to understand it on the surface level, but even on the deeper levels. And so when we get to the thigh, we're going to have our third witness. And so, like I said before, the body, when you study the body, you'll learn these different names. You know, there's different names for the body that actually are considered, like, sometimes has names of animals. There's symbology in it. And so we take about the word epiphany, what Jacob had was epiphany, but the thigh is also called the epiphysis. And the epiphysis, if you look up the word epiphysis, and if you can't look it up now, you can look it up when you have time. The word epiphysis means the end part of a long bone initially growing separately from the shaft, which is basically your joint and thigh joint moving in the socket, right? If you look it up, it's that end part of the bone that fits in the socket, right? And that's where that got hit in the thigh comes from, is that picture of not physically getting hit in the thigh, but something inwardly happening, being explained through a physical representation. The second definition of epiphysis is It's another term for the word pineal, right?
Wow.
So that's your third witness to say, okay, not only does it say it once, not only does it say it twice, it's also hidden within the allegory of the story. And that's where study to go deeper means, because there's something being said. Anytime you feel like you don't understand something or something's not making sense, it's trying to get you to think. It's trying to get you to look under the surface to where the gold is. You got to dig to get to the gold. You know, anything worth having takes work, and it takes digging for it. It takes going underneath the surface for it. So in ritual, who we call the Jews now, they don't eat the seam. They physically don't eat the seam of the thigh of any animal, any kosher animal, because it's considered sacred. But it's not something outward; it's something inward. But we do things ritually because it helps us to remember. It helps us to get our mind to a place that it normally wouldn't be able to go without a physical representation. Mm-hmm. That's why we have rituals. That's why we have ceremonies and things like that, because as we do it physically, it also happens within us spiritually, inwardly. It's like a reminder or a practice. But we can also get to that point without these. It's just that these are just practices that help us to solidify what's actually happening on the inside. And so basically that story makes more sense to me than the surface level, because this just doesn't make sense for a guy named Jacob to be wrestling with the angel, get hit in the thigh, get blessed by God, and be like, all right, good to go.
Right.
When things make sense, it's hard to deny because it makes sense. Sense comes through our senses. You can feel it. It's just like sometimes that feeling is so deep, it's undeniable. And if it's questioned, like I said, you can go and look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Like I broke it down as best as I can, but keep looking at it. Be like the cow. Be like a ruminant animal. Chew on it. Keep looking at it until it sinks in. Because anything surface level in this book is going to throw people off, because that's the way it was written. It was written for people who did the work and have initiated themselves, or have been initiated through the inner work to be able to understand it. Because there's laymen, and then there's people who come to the wisdom of these things, which is said time and time again in the Bible, And so I wanted to start off with that because it's really, to me, it's one of the easiest scriptures to break down. There's many things to break down within that whole chapter, or within the whole book. But I just wanted to bring that to light, so to say, to get people to think and to look for themselves and search out the matter.
That was the perfect beginnings of this Temple Talks. Like, I'm gonna dig way more into it. I love it. I understand. Again, I've always understood that I don't take anything at face level, like face value at all. Everything is been given to us in a way that it keeps people's hands clean. It's like I told them, they just didn't do the research. They just didn't do the work. Right. And I believe that also, we have to give grace, because all of us come into this world with different spiritual experiences prior to being here. So the amount of ease and acceptance, I think, has a lot to do where we are spiritually. Like if we've done this a million times, sometimes things resonate so much easier with someone who's been on this journey over and over again versus a newer soul who may be like, nah, that just don't, you know what I'm saying? Because like with me, again, since I was a child, you present some information like this for me, I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to reject it. What I'm not going to do is reject it. I'm going to see if it resonates. And especially if I'm like engaged, it's definitely, but I've been like that since I was younger. So my soul was a lot older because I've always been very spiritual. Like, everything was more connected, even when it came to sex. When I was younger, I was always like, no, sharing my body with someone just don't feel like y'all, because I'm watching people. I'm very observant, and I'm seeing all these emotions that people are going through. And it's like, I have boyfriends, but that's just a title. And so if we break up, I'm good. Y'all are like having total meltdowns. I'm like, But some people, again, they have to go through that. And maybe I went through that experimentation in prior lives, so it was easier for me to be like, no, I'm good. It's not about being a goody two shoes. It's about what you've already experienced. It's like, I know that ain't for me. So you come into this enlightenment when you get this kind of information. It's easier to digest for some souls than others. And I think Starseeds, it's easier for us to, come here and hear stuff like this and be like, yo, let me look a little deeper. Or I heard that before. For me, it resonates on so many levels. Like even with Jacob, you talked about the 32, the vertebrae, right? It's like Jacob's ladder, right? 33. Yeah. Right. And then the Masons have like the 33-degree masonry, which is like the high, supposedly the highest degree of masonry. And it's like, again, it's hitting these hidden codes within everything. And if we take everything at face value, then we'll never really understand anything. And then when people give us information, we won't be able to digest it because we refuse to even chew, let alone spit it out and redigest and go through the process. A lot of people don't want to go through that process. They would rather be like baby birds, have their mouth open and fed, and somebody just feed it to them and that be enough. And, like even going to church, a lot of people don't read their Bible. They just let the preacher preach and tell them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, and again, I've never been that kind of person. Like once you give me something, I want to go look for myself. I want to dig deeper. I want to understand what you're saying. So I put that on our souls, on our soul's journey. I believe that comes with the amount of understanding. People wake up at different times, right? It's like
they do. Yeah.
We all got it set differently. Some of us woke up a lot earlier than others, but we're all set to wake up or eventually at some point.
For sure. Yeah, and you're right about the grace thing. Like a lot of times, even in the beginning, when you start coming to these truths, you get zealous and you're like trying to convince people, and in the early stages. But now I'm just like, like when I put seeds out or when I share certain things, there's going to be fertile ground that receives it and takes it, and then there'll be soil that doesn't. But it doesn't mean that another person or somewhere down the line isn't able to reach that person. That person even comes to it for themselves. At some point, it might not be even in this life. It might be in another life. Like you said, there's newer souls, and then there's more more people that are souls that have been here time and time again. And so it's a journey. That's not just it's not just in this one lifetime, because it's a soul's journey. This is just a vehicle that we put a lot of emphasis on what's our outer shell, but it's what's on the inside that lives forever. That's the immortality that humans talk about, because just like your car, your car at some point, has to be replaced, and you don't go with the car. You just step outside the car, that car goes to wherever, and then you get a new car.
Yay.
And you're off and driving again for whatever experience that you're going to take in that car.
Right. So, and if you crash that one first, early on, you might learn a lesson. Yeah. You might be a little more cautious this time when you get in your car. And then every time you drive, now you done came back, you got like six cars in. You out this junk driving with one hand, you lean back, you good. You already know. So I always think about that. Like, you ever get in a car and wonder, like, how the hell do I really know how to, like, I already know. People really didn't teach me how to drive. Like, just put me there and I learned. But it was like, it took no time for me to know. And it's because I've done it. Many times.
Yeah, it's the experience. Like, you can be taught something, but until you do it, you can sit in driver's ed and they teach you everything on paper and on the screen or whatever. But until you get behind the wheel, and even after behind the wheel, you're still learning how to drive. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it's like technical stuff, but until you actually get behind the wheel and have experiences and have close calls and whatever it is, you become a better driver, hopefully, more aware driver. So. All of these are just like, these are all allegories too.
Exactly.
Talking about the Bible. These are all just stories that help the mind come to a place to be able to accept something deeper by a surface level understanding. But we don't stay on the surface, right? So
I think we all have our own Bible experiences in this life, right? We all have our Job moments. We all have our Jacob moments. We wrestle with ourselves. We wrestle with our higher selves. Sometimes God gives us a new name. Like we really look, if we look at the Bible, it's all an allegory just for us, like for us to really look at the things that we go through within this life. It's like the archetypes in the tarot. We all can relate to them at certain points because that is us, you know? We are Maya, we are Isis, we are these different entities because they live within us. You know, these are different. You know, Maya is balance and it's justice and it's like it's our morality, right? It's our personal morality. And so when we want to balance the scales, we want to make sure our heart is lighter than a feather, meaning that we want to make sure that we're not walking around with all this heaviness on our heart, but we're the ones that are judging ourselves. You know, if we don't feel any guilt, then our heart is lighter than a feather. Even if we probably should feel some guilt, you know, that's how some people be sliding through. Like, you know, I don't even feel shit. You be like, okay, that's why your karma ain't caught you yet. But when that feeling kick in, that heart, boom, your ass gonna catch that karma. Like it's gonna come for you, but it's only a matter of time. But some people will. The way they clean their hands from the blood that they spill is by presenting information to you in a way that you can only see it at the surface level if you are only at a surface level thought process, right? But if you present the same information to somebody who has a deeper thought process, they're gonna look at it and be like, no, let me break this down, you know. But a lot of us have been told not to do that. You know, don't look at the stars, don't look up, don't break things down, don't talk to the astrologers. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do any of that stuff. That stuff is going to get no. Don't eat from that tree. Knowledge. You want to know something? Get the hell away from there. Like
don't do that. Don't be smart. Don't wake up. Stay in the
don't become like us, because if you eat from the tree, you're gonna become like us. Like all of that. We're gonna get into I know we're gonna get into it more because we're gonna take our time and walk through these temple talks. Like I really enjoyed Jacob tonight. I really did, and you're gonna make me pull. I pulled out I had my whole thing my whole computer had to change around when you asked for that Bible, because the Bible's so big, it kind of was holding up my computer. So I had to pull it out. But I'm going to keep this out for our temple talks because I'm really interested in these talks. And, you know, I love the way you break it down to, again, what it really supposed to be about, right? It really is. He's trying to really give you the information behind the symbolism that is the Bible. 1, 2, 3 on the clock.
And I got one more thing that I want to share. To the allegory thing, just to bring some awareness to the allegory thing. In your own time, you can look up in Galatians 4:24. It talks about Abraham and Sarah. And let's see. And I'll start at 22 and just read a little bit. I just want to bring some awareness to it about where it is in the Bible, because a lot of times people want, I mean, rightly so, they want proof, right? They want to see it for themselves. 22 says, "For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh. But he of the free woman was by promise, which things are an allegory." All right. It says it right there in words, which things are an allegory. For these things are the 2 covenants, the one from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. And later on in these teachings, I'll break that down. I just wanted to bring awareness to the allegory part. And then always look up words, like whether it be etymology or anything, like if there's ever a word that you see that you want to look up, that's where you start to get and gain understanding, you know. And even in definitions, you want to dig deep, because a lot of times they change definitions and words. So the older dictionaries are way better to have. But things like this that are pretty surface level, like allegory, you know, it's pretty straightforward. But an allegory means a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or a political one. So right there, it tells you that this book that's called the greatest story ever told, not history, not things that possibly could have really happened, but stories that are there to try to reveal something that is hidden.
Yes.
Which is also parable or any things like that. And so when we start to come to awareness and self-awareness and understanding, we really stop wrestling with ourselves and start to really look into the matter of things, because it's very important. Because if not, then somebody will lead you astray. Somebody will, and they will be astray themselves, and some of them aren't. Some of them know. There's a lot of pastors and ministers out there that are Masons.
Yes,
and
a lot.
And know this stuff, right?
It's like
and
a requirement for one.
Right, and they take advantage of this stuff. When
Yes.
all actuality, they're profiting. These are the wolves in sheep clothing that do these things. And I'm not saying all Masons like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to try to disrespect or bring. There's no harm in this. But like I said, there's people here that their calling is to bring awareness to this, because my incarnation here, and I feel like my service here as what I call myself is like a high priest. I come from a long line of pastors and all this, and I don't take it lightly. I've done the work. I've done these things, like and it's not about bragging, but who wants to listen to somebody that actually hasn't experienced and hasn't done it? I've done the fasting. I've done the all these things, gone inward, been in solitude for months and months, sometimes even a year or two, where I'm just to myself. It's very uncomfortable. And we have to get to that point in initiation where it's very difficult. It's literally like a death. But in order to be relevant or have any type of credibility, one has to lead by example,
Yes.
And as knowledge is, they say there's power in knowledge, and there is, but there's more power in the practice of knowledge. Knowledge can't do anything for you without practice. You can know everything in the world and not put it into practice, and it's useless, because you're not even getting to experience whatever it is that the knowledge that you have. And there's a lot of teachers and things out there. Again, I don't mean no harm, just telling the truth about things, that are profiting or want to be seen just to have fame or whatever. But when you're in truth, like real truth, you're not very popular. You're not a popular person. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You're not going to make a whole lot of money. Like, I don't even care about money, because I know that I have.
That's not what we do it for.
I have access to everything around me. If I run out of money, there's people around me that I know. Or if nature in itself takes care of us. You know what I mean? There's been times I've run out of money, and I don't panic, because I know that there's things around me. But we have to know what's around us. We have to know ourselves. Even with the fasting, like, I know that I can go a certain amount of time without food. I've went, like, they tell you can't go more than 3 days without food or water. I've gone 9 days. So I blew that out of the water for myself. I had to see for myself. Like, they say they can't. Like, I'm very rebellious when it comes to that. Like, if somebody says something,
you're gonna tell me,
and they're like, well, you can't do this. Like, I'm gonna be like, watch me do it. I'm about to prove this, whether it's true or false. I'm going to figure this out. You know what I mean? But that's the mindset that we have to have. You know what I mean? We have to really dig deep, within ourselves in order to get the prize, in order to get that which is talked about in here when we come to a revelation, when we come to the apocalypse. Apocalypse just means to the veil to be removed, to come to something that's been hidden.
Yes. Yes.
And that is an apocalypse for some people, because if they're not ready for it, it can completely destroy them if they're not ready for it. That's why we have to be careful with a lot of this knowledge. And if people aren't accepting it, I'm okay with that, because I don't mean any harm by sharing this stuff. I enjoy sharing this stuff, but also if it's not for somebody, I understand that, because I don't want to throw somebody into that much chaos to where they completely lose it, what I mean? But
that's why I think that a lot of stuff has been hidden, Even in Egypt, all the knowledge was hidden. It was like when the Greeks went over there and stole everything, that's how they became, highly known as the philosophers or the great, because they were spreading the information that was hidden, but it was hidden for a reason. Some things are too much for some humans' minds. Like everybody's not ready for everything. And so I get why there's certain secret societies, but then again, secrets can be used against you. If what you don't know, you can be used to be manipulated with. So, it's like a double-edged sword when it comes to, information. And we're in the age of knowing, so much is going to be revealed to us. And it's so important for us to have these kind of talks so that we know when we're hearing things, like to really, again, like you said, question it. Look into it, dig a little deeper, and know that things are not always what they appear or are presented to us. And that's on purpose. Like they're supposed to trick some, but they know that they can't fool them all, right? And so that's why you have platforms like this, where again, people have the free will to come and learn if they would like, but we're not forcing it on anyone.
Not forcing it on. I'm not here to convert nobody. Honestly, I really has no concern to me what anybody believes in. Just me being called to do certain things, and I follow that calling because, that's what I've been called to do. And Spirit or God or whatever you want to call that has endowed me with that responsibility. But not only is it a joy for me to do this, you know what I mean? Because that's what gets us out of this systematic thinking, out of old paradigms, into creating new systems and new things that actually benefit us, and so we don't get taken advantage of within this system and construct that we're in now, because they put the truth out there in symbolism, but some people just aren't aware enough to see that they're putting it right in front of your face. But there's a veil, like I said, that's over a lot of people's eyes, and that's okay. But they're telling you the truth all the time in front of your face.
All the time, and that's
but
how
they also contradict that truth with also lies to cause confusion. So
it's like the shit pie on that movie, The Help, when it looked good, right? It looked like it's chocolate pie, but it's a little boo-boo in there.
Yeah, boo-boo. Yeah,
you don't want to fuck with that for real, but whatever. If you want to digest it, but you have to mix a little truth with a little lie in order to make people digest it a little bit easier. And it's because we're spiritual, we're always seeking, this divine connection. And so when you only have religion that's presented to you, then you go in that way. When you only have certain factors. But I think that, again, as we get into these temple talks, we'll get into the different religions, we'll get into the mother, we'll get into, the energy we're in right now, the shifts that's going on. I'm enjoying these talks. I think we're gonna save y'all a little bit. Because we can go, me and the Sun Chaser, we have had conference. We can talk. Okay.
Yeah, definitely can. Definitely can. You see me in some of the darkest places I've ever been. Likely, we're transparent, no judgment.
No
we
judgment
understand
at
what each other's been. If one of us falls off for a while, it's like, all right, well, she's doing what she's doing, and she'll reach out when she's ready. Or, if I fall off for a little bit, I don't take it personal. I'm like, all right, she just needs her time. She's reflecting, going inward, or whatever.
We Pisces, shit. We gotta go down to the deep of the water sometimes. Sometimes we can't take people because can't nobody breathe down there like we can. We know, but we always come back up to the surface.
That's right. Got to come back to the school.
That's right. And that's why I'm glad you're back here on Pronoia Starseed podcast. So he'll be back once a month at least.
Yep. Yeah, okay. For sure. Maybe even twice. I said once, twice.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna send you the calendar, so you just put your dates on there. You let me know what date, and we'll work on that. We'll make sure, because I believe that this is needed. Again, at this time, this is so needed. And again, those who need to hear it will come. Many are chosen to, answer the call. And so,
right.
Who's going to answer the call?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say tonight before we close out?
Oh, no. It's been a long day. So me and my homie, my brother here, we're still here. We've been here since like 9 o'clock. making food and him been making juices and stuff. So ready to kind of cut out of here.
I feel you. Well,
rest.
thank you. I appreciate you being here tonight, and we will see you again next month for more of the Temple Talks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also want to say if anybody's on here that has any questions, since we don't have time for questions, you can find me on Instagram, it's plant_master_P33. And I'm always available. I'm not some bougie person who thinks like I'm an open book. I'm accessible, and if you have questions, I'll answer them. And I'm really easy to talk to. So yeah,
make sure you keep a journal, a book, a notebook. I'm telling you, bring your Bibles when we get ready to do Temple Talk. This is going to be, this is episode 1. We're going to keep it going. I think it'd be great if you keep a journal with you, something with you to take notes, because as we go along, it's going to be a lot to learn, a lot to digest, a lot to chew up and spit out and chew up and spit out and thing.
Yeah, make it digestible. Yeah.
All right. Oh, and yes, I want to. You definitely got to talk about the Christ oil and the Christ consciousness. We got to get into that for sure, because I believe that's very relevant at this time.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that.
Yes.
We got a lot to get into. So
yes,
it'll be good.
Absolutely. Well, this is Pranoia Starseed Podcast, y'all. I am the goddess Rael. This is the Sun Chaser Perry. And thank you. Pranoia means that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. That means no matter what it looks like out here, we know, believe me, these two right here, we know it look crazy sometimes, but you will get through it. Divine is with you. The universe is always working in your favor. Make sure you tap in. We are back here on the 3rd with Oplex Music, and then we're back on the 6th for Cardology. So make sure you tap into Pranoia Starseed Podcast, y'all. Peace and have a good night.
Somebody gon' get to tell them that I'm coming. And you can tell them that I'm coming. Tell them that I'm. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. I'm trying to turn the world into something. You tell them that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. I've been standing on the outside. Looking in, now it's my time. You can tell them that I'm coming for them. God sent me, ain't no turn around. And I ain't leaving unless I'm bringing back a soul with me. Like I'm pulling spirits out the ground. I done seen enough to build with me. And let me show you how I'm living now. And you can tell them that I'm coming. And you can tell them that I'm. You ought to know by now, them streets ain't really loyal to you. Don't know why you being loyal back. I done seen it kill too many people. Strip them down for everything they got. And you can tell them that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. Somebody tell the world that I'm coming. And you can tell them that I'm. The OGs tell me keep it going. And never let them get me off track. Hit them hard with their real talk. And let that you upstairs handle what you lack. I know I done sacrificed a lot of time for it. Letting God handle a lot of moves. Trusting in them got me higher than I ever been. Doors coming open like the hinge falling all the screws. Entitled to a new spot. Grind mode till we see the top. Got your blessing, quit complaining, homie. People want what you already got. Tell them that I'm coming. Tell them that I hope they got some room for me. If not, then I'ma make a way. You can tell them that I'm coming for them. God sent me, so I'm here to stay. I see through the fakes and the fraudulent. The space turn authentic when I walk in. Laser focus, laser vision. We elevating how we living. My pupils see right through the layers. Turn the volume up, picking our faders. I'm on a whole nother wavelength. My crown get downloads from the cadence, and I'll be like, hey, hey, hey. All of my energy building up. Release on the track when I lay it. Stack abundance to the ceiling like, oh, with a feeling, yeah. Hey. I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. Them VVS's and clearances, vision projected from pineal pictures. I dreamt it so vivid. Walking on clouds through the village with all of the mangoes. My gut can fill up with indigenous roots in my blood. So my cup full of blessings. The heavens inside my ancestry. Travel through realms on a quest for new weaponry. Load up the clip, then I shoot with a melody. Fill up the bucket with alkaline water. Hydrate. That was when I somersault through them racks off the craft. I'm a lap to the mattress and back. Meet me outside in the ghost in the shell. Keep my windows on 10 and a tank full of gas. My aura defense with deflected attempts to bring me down to earth. I done broke through the exosphere. He's off the Mars in the rover with special gear. Currently cruise to the cosmos, I'm better here. Sitting on Saturn, collecting my rings. Transmit the signal and shine with the team. Beat me up into the groundwater trying, cause my flow like the now you on desert or dry. It took some dark spaces to cultivate light. The cave was a place where I sparked the idea to burn up the flames in the soul and ignite. The passion inside got me feeling my shine. Yeah, hey, hey. All of my energy building up. Release on the track when I lay it. Hey, stack abundance to the ceiling like, oh, with a feeling, yeah. Hey, I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit.
All my life, I never settled, just getting by my intuition rise up. Them motherfuckers that counted me out never knew about the long nights, they thought it was stuck. Think what you want. Hop on a flight when I touch down, I'm fucking shit up. Yeah, it's been tough. Tougher when you live a life that you really don't want. So we been grinding like clips and for real. With discipline you will prevail. It's funny how they split our families up. See a family you can't even tell. Need meditation and a bigger blunt. I found myself in the infinite tunnel. This beat of life swing like the pendulum. In the heads of us to break this bell. Wait, so I'm fired up. Thinking sweet to this wave is a tidal one. Ain't no fear in my heart cause I cycle done. They ain't looking no guys that can fly with us. Peep the root where the desire from. It's been straight from the soul ever since a young. Every beat I step on it's like finish from channel. My source made the max from the minimum. Look, I'm at the top of the pyramid, yeah. Trusting yourself and get clear quick, yeah. If Cloud in your spot then he killing it, yeah. For soul ain't for sale, he unlimited, yeah. Came a long way but I'm thankful. The highs and the lows, that's just more life experience, yeah. Locked in my purpose like staples. I channel the leader and shine like Cornelius.
Hey, hey, all of my energy building up. Release on the track when I lay it. Hey, stack abundance to the ceiling like, oh, with a feeling, yeah. Hey, I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. Hey, 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 all of my energy building up. Release on the track when I lay it. Hey, stack abundance to the ceiling like, oh, with a feeling, yeah. Hey, I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. I'm at the top of the pyramid. Talking to God in the mirror shit. You don't look like what you been through. The way you glow so crazy. Made it through the trials and tribulation. You deserve all kind of celebration. Even with them odds stacked against you, you found a way to make life greater, greater, greater. Yeah, going to the gym every day and eating clean. Never catch a nigga like me sipping lean. Loving on my wife, loving on my babies. Looking at my sons, they look just like me. I be down day go chilling on the beach. Sunset clips with the view and the breeze. Living my life and protecting my peace. You ain't on that vibe, you can't be around me. Moving through the game like a young OG. Putting on for the greats that was here before me. The money and the fame really ain't what it seemed. I feel it's more important that I leave a legacy. Influencing the minds of the young Starseeds. Stay up on your grind and keep following dreams. I promise you got everything that you need. Cause you don't look like what you been through. The way you glow so crazy. Made it through the trials and tribulation. You deserve all kind of celebration. Even with them odds stacked against you, you found a way to make life greater, greater, greater.
Come on, hey. I I took the bitter with the sweet and kept pushing.
Keep going.
Taking trips overseas, let's book it.
Let's do it.
If you tryna find yourself, keep looking.
Don't stop.
They only tell you that you came when they couldn't.
That's a fact.
I'm Mr. Flip a negative into a positive.
Watch this.
Everything a blessing, God just disguising
Thank
it.
you, God.
I don't look like what I've been through, it's obvious.
I'm happy.
Had the odds stacked against me and I bodied it. Used to feel alone, now I got an audience. My job is what my hobby is.
Wow.
Somebody pinch me. Failed chemistry, but going down in history.
Legendary.
I am who I am, don't be trying to fix me.
Girl, stop.
Head down greater than I was the day before. Only if they knew how far I came, but they don't know.
Only if they know.
I deserve everything I got and more. The dark made me glow.
You don't look like
Yes.
what you been through. The way you glow so crazy.
So crazy.
Made it through the trials and tribulations.
Right.
You deserve all kind of celebration. Even with them odds stacked against you, you found a way to make life greater, greater, greater.
Life is great.
Learn to cloud surf while never leaving Earth. 10 toes firmly planted in the dirt for what it's worth. See my life flash before my eyes a couple times. So I'd be lying if I said I don't believe in the divine. For reasons we can't find, the truth will probably blow our minds. This energy in the universe send chills down your spine. Had a talk with a goddess about human design. Pull my coat to how I need to get my chakras aligned. Gotta break some bad habits, it's addition by subtraction. Move away from bad actors, trying to leech off your action. It's the laws of attraction, gotta see it before it happens. Gotta believe it with a passion, then receive this beautiful madness. Find a pattern in the chaos, their assessment was way off. You build it from the ground up, you own it, so ain't no layoffs. Your energy is equity, cashing on your day off. Hope to reach a couple souls, it's all a part of the payoff.